everybody, and welcome once again to Let's Play Pathfinder Kingmaker. Well, I've made a bit of a faux pas, I'm afraid. Let me try to explain. So, I'm going on holiday on Saturday for a couple of weeks. Don't know if you've heard on the grapevine, don't know if I've mentioned it previously, but hey, I'm off on holiday. So what I decided to do, it's an idea that was given to me by Jessa of the Jessa channel when we were discussing some things a few months ago now. But basically, I want to schedule some videos to go up when I'm away on holiday. So I was thinking about 6 40-minute sessions or so I could upload them Monday, Wednesday and Friday of both weeks while I'm away. The issue with that is I'm going on Saturday, which is now only 4.5 days, well less than that, 4 days away if you count today as a write-off, recording this commentary at 9:42 PM. So yeah, time is of the essence here. And to record 6 40-minute sessions with, after recording them, editing them, rendering them and uploading them, all of that takes a fair bit of time. So in a way to save time, I'm deciding to try something that would make my life a lot easier, and that is to record, or rather to live stream privately, 6 streams, aka 6 recorded sessions. So record 6 40 to 50 minute streams, and by doing that, by keeping them private so you can't see them, and then letting YouTube do their magic with the VOD, that means that I can still record the sessions, I don't have to edit them, I don't have to upload them, I don't have to render them, because the VOD automatically goes up. So this video was a test video for that process. The process worked perfectly fine. I recorded the session. The session was about 52 minutes. The VOD was processed within 5 minutes of the stream ending. It was all done privately. I scheduled it to go up, this video to go up at the time you're seeing it now. Everything worked fine. But I thought I'll just watch the video back just to see if everything worked out okay. And when I watched the video back, because I completely forgot that I was streaming, because I was in recording mode, I forgot to change my microphone settings on OBS, because the settings for recording and streaming are slightly different, which meant that although the game sound recorded, my commentary didn't of this session, and I had so much fun in this session that I didn't want to play it again, so here I am delivering after commentary instead. Oh dear. But anyway, at least I got something out of it, because I know that the thing works. I know that I can record a stream privately, and then the VOD will go up pretty much instantaneously after that, and I can schedule that VOD to go live whenever I want. Depending on how well this works, I might start to use this methodology going forward, because it does save a hell of a lot of time, and I don't tend to edit my videos too much. One of the drawbacks of the VOD situation is editing is a little bit more difficult. It's not impossible. YouTube Studio does contain an edit feature where you can clip and edit out chunks of your video before you upload it, or before you make it live. So I can still cut out things like me going downstairs to get some dinner, or getting distracted and things. But we'll see how it goes. And I obviously stream in 1440p when there's nobody watching it, because there's no delay on the chat. So, because there is no chat, turn the chat off. So, it might be a thing that I adopt going forward. Not for every single video, but for videos where I have restricted time. But anyway, I think I've blathered on for long enough, but this is not live, so I'm literally watching the video. I have clipped the video and edited it down, some of the superfluous stuff that I was obviously rambling on about. And it's not until you watch a video without sound that you actually realise how much time you waste probably talking about nonsense, because I'm trying to fill 5 minutes of dead time here, because I rambled on for 5 minutes during the live video. Pretty much just about what I've told you, so there you go. The next test video of me doing a live stream VOD, hopefully with commentary included, you'll be seeing on your screens on Friday. If that works perfectly, then yeah, you're going to get 6, essentially 40-minute stream VODs. Monday, Wednesday and Friday of the 2 weeks that I'm away. Such is my dedication to giving you something to watch when I'm absent. But anyway, our task today is to go to here, which is White Rose Abbey, because we have here a situation on our hands where we can...
Right here, my friend.
Potentially find some evidence against Irovetti, but before we get to doing that, of course, we have to remove that pesky armour from Lindsay that I talked about in the last session. So casting Remove Curse with Tristian. 6 chances to do it. Don't forget there's only a 20% chance of this being a success, because it's you got to roll a 17 or above, because the DC check is a 33 and his caster level is 16 plus plus the dice roll. And as you can clearly see there, as the text box on the right suggests, he was successful first time of asking. He rolled a 19. So that was absolutely fantastic luck. Fantastic luck indeed for that to happen. So Lindsay gets that armour removed. I do notice that actually, despite the fact that we have removed the armour, Lindsay is still suffering a Constitution debuff. We put on the vest of 100 pockets with her simply because I forgot to bring her regular armour along. Another one of Elquist's classic blunders. So yeah, I'm not sure how to remove her Constitution debuff. I do try using Tristian's Restoration spell, but spoiler alert, it doesn't work. There's another 2 diamond dust we'll never get back. So, not sure how to remove that. We can try Arrest, we can try Greater Restoration. Other than that, I'm going to have to Google it. Hopefully it's not a glitch. But anyway, onwards through the dungeon here. White Rose Abbey. Don't know if you can hear that in the background, but it sounds like either somebody snoring or some real heavy breathing. And I was actually concerned at this point, whilst looting alcohol, that there was potentially a dragon or something down here, because we don't know what the secret is. I do now, obviously, but we don't know what the secret is that Irovetti is hiding. And I thought, well, is he hiding a dragon? Is that possible? This heavy breathing creature thing sounds rather nasty, potentially. Anyway, I paused the session here because I wanted to explain something, and I'll explain it whilst the game is paused now. I was basically asking a favour from you guys, because I seem to recall in the session where Lindsay went mad that we came to a dungeon that was very similar to this one, and there was a mage or a wizard type person in there, and he gave us a story about different things, and then he said, come back in a week for, I don't know, was it a book, or he was writing a book, or he was doing something, and I can't remember the location of that wizard. So I was asking you guys, if you can remember the location of that wizard and know what I'm talking about, just drop me a comment in the video. I'll try and find out myself. I'll try and find the session where I went there. It was only maybe 3 or 4 sessions ago. And I can find that session because the comments all comment on Lindsay's moment of madness. So I'll probably find it myself before you guys see this, but just in case, just drop a comment if you wouldn't be. So if you would be so kind.
All according to plan.
Anyway, onwards and upwards in White Rose Abbey itself. Here we have some traps, which of course our expert thief Elquist will have no trouble disarming. I say tongue-in-cheek.
A trivial matter.
But he does manage to do it. And we see a glimpse there of one of the potential enemies, which clearly was a were-tiger. We've had were-rats, we've had were-wolves, we've had other creatures, have we? Not sure. But were-tigers sound particularly nasty. So I was a little bit concerned. But not concerned enough to start buffing just yet. And there was another trap in the way. Now, traps in the middle of combat can be a royal pain in the backside, so I decided to try with Elquist to disarm said trap, but for some strange reason my hotkey for going into stealth didn't work. Hence why I'm approaching the trap unstealthed. I couldn't get the hotkey to work for stealth. So yeah, we triggered the combat with a trap in the way, so we're pulling back to avoid the trap, and suddenly, look what springs from the shadows, but 2 were-rats as well, just to make life more complicated. Sending the tanks to deal with the were-rats, pulling everybody else back. And Elquist suffering a slight blow there from the were-tiger, I think it might have been. Pitax wardens also in this fight, some of which have some very long-ranged bows that are peppering Lindsay. Tristian casting controlled fireball. AoE needed here, and we're concerned about the enemy that's approaching Tristian, in addition to the were-tiger that's peppering Lindsay. So this is not a straightforward situation here. Lindsay being pulled away from the line of fire, and Acundio switching to assist Tristian with the were-tiger that's stabbing Tristian in the face. Okay, problem averted, and pulling Tristian back so it doesn't happen again. The people that were peppering Lindsay are following Lindsay, rather unfortunately, so she's still getting peppered, and we're pulling her further back whilst we try to take down the creatures that are shooting her to death. I mean, look at this Pitaxian guard. He's run right past Acundio simply to try and kill Lindsay. I mean, what, don't you like bards? Have you heard of her stories and you're under strict orders from Irovetti to take her down? I don't know. Anyway, we decided to sip a potion with her, which was a good choice because essentially, as you'll see in a second, we sip it and then she gets shot again, and sipping of the potion saved her from going down. Yeah, there you go. Look, he fires off another shot, which does hit her, but she just healed just before it hit, as you can see there. Look at that. So literally that saved her, sipping that potion. But there you go, we've just about managed to come through that without losing anybody. It was a little bit messy. It wasn't difficult, it was just the way that the combat triggered. And the ranged attacks of the enemy, especially on Lindsay. Yeah. Elquist telling Lindsay to remain silent in future, for stop drawing attention to herself. Okay. Right, this is time for loot and plunder. The reason why, actually, it's now 5 to 10, the reason why I'm recording this commentary so late, I've been to football, and I had to unlist the video, I had to unlist the VOD, and then I had to download the VOD using a YouTube to MP4 website to put the VOD into Sony Vegas so that I could watch the video whilst recording the commentary, but then also put the commentary onto the video. So I had to delete the VOD that I ended up obviously trying to get up. So, but anyway,
And Lindsay was called
I was ready to record this at like 9 o'clock after coming back from football, and as soon as I was about to press the record button, fireworks. It's a Sikh festival today. And as I mentioned when it was Diwali a couple of weeks ago, there's a Sikh temple literally about less than half a mile down the road, and lo and behold, the firework display started. So there's no point in me even recording the commentary whilst that was going on, and it lasted about 25 minutes. Much to my annoyance, to be honest with you. I just wanted to sit down and record a session, or record the commentary. Anyway, there's a journal that we picked up there, and I was debating whether or not that journal was anything to do with this quest. It wasn't, I don't think.
In due time.
Hence why I've talked over reading that.
Me see, me keep.
Another thing we're keeping an eye out for in this dungeon, and I mentioned this, I think I mentioned this in the last session, was there is a Technic League item set, item here. Set item? Technic League set item, yeah, here, in this place. I know this because
What a find!
when I was Googling the Technic League set a few sessions ago, I took the names down of the locations where those were, and White Rose Abbey was one of them, which confused me because White Rose Abbey wasn't on the map, and now I know why. It's because it's a quest location. Right, we picked up the Ring of Chaos, which is a useful ring for Reggie. +4 deflection bonus to AC, which gives him a +1 AC on top of what he already had, because his current AC is +3 deflection bonus, and most importantly for a tank, continuous freedom of movement. Right. One drawback of recording this in actually recording this in Sony Vegas. I've never done this before. I'm recording this commentary in Sony Vegas
Anything
rather
is
than
possible.
OBS. And one drawback of doing this is, at least in Sony Vegas,
Ready for anything.
you could mute the microphone.
It is
no?
finished.
In OBS, sorry, you can mute the microphone. And in Sony Vegas, I don't know if you can. Or maybe you can. Because I need to cough. Bear with me. Okay, I pressed what was the mute button on the audio track and it didn't mute the microphone. But I can cut the coughing out. But the issue with it, I might as well bore you with my technical issues. The issue with coughing like that, or like I did during the recording, is the cough is louder than the commentary. So when I come to do my post-production audio editing, the peaks of the cough are going to interfere with my balance, but with my sort of balance and leveling of the rest of the audio. But anyway, just to take you through my trials and tribulations. Okay, so here we have another set of enemies, and one of them had wings and was called the Gardener. But other than that, it's more of the same. Pitaxian Wardens, Greater Were Tigers, same kind of stuff. We approach in stealth, we open the proceedings with the Cundios, sniper shots, and we take the tanks in first to try to prevent Lindsay from being targeted again. And the Gardener cast Train Lightning, which is rather painful.
Should withdraw for a time.
And what do you know? Lindsay has been targeted again and is almost on death's door again as balls of fire hurl into the fray. So we have a dripping clock here, which requires a DC 18 strength check, which Reggie can do in his sleep. Can do that with one hand, one finger probably. But before we get to that, we will loot and plunder and heal Lindsay again. This is clearly a conspiracy against our bard. Okay, most of the valuable loot has been taken now, so we shall approach this strange dripping clock device. Eventually. Oh, actually first there's 2 chests, or there's 2 containers. Let's perhaps loot those first. Because what's more important than looting something? Certainly not some random dripping clock, right? I'm actually intrigued. Do I loot the... I will loot these first, I'm sure.
Focus on the goal.
Adventures call to them.
Making sure that Elquist maximises his chance of
No mistakes.
looting these effectively. Although I don't think we actually put on the vest of 100 pockets, because Lindsay had it on, so that was a potential faux pas there. But yes, that was the Technic League item, in addition to a spear and loads more alcohol. There's a lot of alcohol in this dungeon, which... Oh, we do have the vest of 100 pockets on. I must have put it on earlier in the dungeon, which I may have cut out of the video. When I was trimming down some of the dead time. Or me just messing about with inventories. What am I doing? I don't know. Admiring his robes? Potentially. Oh, I was talking about his stats here. Look at his stats. His stats are buffed to high heaven. Even his strength, which was at strength 8 when we created him, is now 14. So, you know, we kind of turned Elquist almost into kind of a super character, if you will. And also, when we get the item from Bokken, that elixir that he brings, I know what the elixir is, unfortunately, because I did find out by accident. His stats will be boosted even further. But my only question would be, I don't know if the elixir
A reckoning is at hand.
buffs our stats in a way that doesn't stack with items that we already have. I think it might improve the base stats rather than the actual bonuses. So anyway, Reggie cracks open this dripping clock, and inside is Avindra, who we saw in the dream world in the last session. She's deathly pale, and she has a message for us. She freezes and stares forward with unseeing eyes. When she speaks again, it's not with her voice, but another. One you recognise all too well. Just 2 more to make 1,000. 2 more grains, and my cup will be full. And I was commenting at this bit, actually remember commenting about this, is that I did wonder, because it wasn't explicitly stated, how close she was to her 1,000 grains, and this now confirms it. Just 2 more required. I care not who makes it first, you and your lands, my hound, or Pitax and its ruler. The time draws near, so enjoy yourselves or fight, or celebrate your victory. Each step you take is more toward my triumph. Take the tool promised to you. It awaits you here at the bottom of the lake in the Abbey. But bear in mind, my peacock already knows you have revealed his secret. He is terrified, and he will soon make his move. Okay, so we've got a variety of questions we can ask here. Now, Elquist asking about this tool, first of all. A dark secret is hidden in these depths, the remains of victims of a treacherous murder. Side by side they lie at the bottom of the lake, the offspring of 4 noble Pitaxian families, Liacenza, Catani, Vascari, and Strakal. I know little of the games mortal monarchs play, but I've watched Irovetti for a long time. He fears these bones will be recovered and draw the vengeance of their living relatives. That is why Nerissa told you where to search for the bodies. She also told him you would come to retrieve them. 2 rulers at each other's throats is exactly what she needs. Nerissa, dear cousin, what have you become? No surprise there. Playing us off against each other. Asking why she speaks with Nerissa's voice. I am Avindra. I've spent many years serving my cousin Nerissa as her living tool, a channel for her voice, and as a gift to her peacock, King Irovetti. Through me, he could communicate with her. And asking why Nerissa would do this. It is a long story, though you surely know much of it already. Long ago, my dear, sweet cousin was different. But then a curse fell upon her, and it changed her completely. It's been a long time since I could recognize Nerissa, our once proud, brave, and visionary leader. The curse deprived her of her heart, and her first victims were her sisters, the nymphs, and myself. And asking about the strange winged halfling that attacked us, with a nasty chain lightning no less. She frowns and hisses through gritted teeth. The gardener. That is how he was known. The madman was obsessed with me, and Irovetti exploited that weakness of his to turn him into the most loyal of his guardians. I do not wish to speak more of him. Okay, but we didn't want to kill this. We didn't want to kill Avindra, clearly a pawn in the grand scheme of things, just like we are, I suppose. And as we're about to leave, she calls out, "Wait! I beg you, please, take me with you, King. Let me live in your capital. I will repay you by telling you all I know. I want to help you. And I want to help Nerissa too. If anyone can break the curse, it must be you." Well, well, well. And so there's a quandary for Mr. Elquist to consider. Do we take Avindra with us and risk her double-crossing us? Or do we leave her behind? Tristian chirps up, as a fellow traitor, perhaps, urges Elquist to listen to Avindra. Perhaps she can help us, he says. Now, first of all, Elquist probably giving Tristian a sideways glance as if to say, excuse me. I'm thinking here. I don't need any input at the moment, thank you. If I need input, I shall ask for it. But also, he's weighing up the pros and the cons, because the pros being that Avindra, as she stated, can give us help against Nerissa, and any help we can get surely shouldn't be turned away. She's obviously been a pawn in Nerissa's sort of greater quest, if you will, just like many others have been, and so, you know, she has no reason, I suppose, to double-cross us. And also she wants to help Nerissa too, so all of those things combined could lead to this being a good choice. But on the flip side of that, there's the slight chance that she's still under Nerissa's gaze, Nerissa's control, Nerissa's spell. But Elquist making the decision that in this high-risk, high-reward type situation, we'll take Avindra with us. Well, at least allow her to go to the capital, where we'll have to seek her out and speak to her at a later time. So, yes, the lake depths still hold the secret, but what is that secret? We've heard that it's murder victims, which, considering corpses in water, is probably not going to be very pleasant, is it? The underground lake looks like a silver mirror. The reflections on its surface are so clear that you can make out every wrinkle in your clothes and the individual strands of your hair. What you can't make out, though, is anything that may be hidden beneath the water. So Elquist volunteers to dive into the lake, rather bizarrely. Surprised he didn't send Acundio. You once more notice the silvery quality of the water, as though it's been imbued with light or perhaps radiates it, but the things hidden by the placid shimmering are horrible. Below your feet at the bottom of the lake float at least 24 corpses. The dead seem to stare at you, some with the empty sockets of hollow skulls and others with nightmarish dead eyes. One body floats past you, and you feel a small metal object fall into your hand. It looks like a signet ring. You receive a fox signet ring and some decent experience. Elquist is examining the bodies further, and he notices that one of them wears a purple belt. Another is clad in a black vest with a bright green embroidery. You easily recognise the insignias of the 4 trade houses. There are dead bodies here from all the great families that once ruled Pitax. Elquist dives deeper and deeper, pushing himself until he finds the bottom of the lake beneath his hands and something more, something metallic. A dagger, woohoo, lies beside the body of a young blonde man. The weapon is in perfect condition despite its submersion. It may be a trick of the mind, but as you leave, the dead man's body shifts and it seems almost like a nodded farewell, like the man wishes you luck and hopes to be avenged. So our exploration is complete, but forget about that, because what do we have but Dark Wind, a +4 dagger which gives +5 to stealth and extra sneak attack damage with any weapon of 1d6. Goodbye, Arcane Protector. Hello, Dark Wind. And this signet ring depicts a fox's head, symbol of one of the trade houses. Pretty decent long spear too, if we had somebody that could wield it, because it gives +5 and +2 dodge bonus to AC when affected with a bardic performance. So that's pretty nice, but nobody in the party can really use that, so never mind. Anyway, here's the best part of the session. We return back, and who greets us in our throne room but Stefano Mosconi, wearing particularly splendid attire for his visit. His doublet is embroidered with precious stones and decorated with the emblem of Pitax. A disdainful smile is plastered on his powdered face. He bows formally. Your Highness, I am here on behalf of His Highness Irovetti of Pitax. Yes, we gathered while you were here. Spit it out. It is an open secret that things are not going too well for your kingdom of late. Bandits and monsters which you supposedly exterminated are swarming your countryside once more. You are losing the trust and respect of your subjects. Everyone sees that you are failing to meet the responsibilities of a proper ruler. It's just that not everyone dares to say this out loud. And yet here you are stood before me, daring to say it out loud yourself, Mr. Mosconi. His Highness Irovetti is ready to lend you a helping hand. Reject this unbearable burden of power, kneel to him, and abdicate the crown. He will rule the stolen lands as wisely and fairly as he rules his own country. His Highness is expecting you at his palace in Pitax, ready to accept your oath. And unfortunately, Mr. Mosconi, this is like red rag to a bull, your red cloak to Elquist, because Elquist is not usually a rash ruler, a harsh ruler. He's a chaotic ruler at the best of times, going and choosing things on a whim. And rather unfortunately, given Mr. Mosconi that you have indeed graced our presence once before and insulted us in our very own throne room, you have also made us rather upset when we visited Pitax, the Rushlight tournament, and now here you are again daring to insist that we kneel to Irovetti whilst looking all smug. Unfortunately for you, Elquist's chaotic whim on this occasion is, well, rather harsh for a change. Tell Irovetti I'm coming? No. He's not getting my crown? No. We need to send Irovetti a message. A clear message that we are not to be meddled with, because this, as the title of the chapter suggests, is war. Right? And as the saying goes, all is fair in love and war. So, Stefano Mosconi, I'm afraid it's game over for you, because Elquist has had just about enough. Guards, Elquist shouts, his crown tipping off his head as he leads forward, bright red in the face, spit flying from his mouth. Send this piece of trash to the headsman, and send his head to Irovetti as our reply. I've heard enough from his flapping mouth. And you can just picture the colour draining from Stefano's face, the horror. Probably Chandra may be holding out a hand as if to say, this is not the diplomatic thing to do. Forget diplomacy on this occasion. Elquist is insistent and signals for the guards to make a move. And I love this. Your guards disarm the screaming Moscone and drag him away. Yes, those screams aren't blood-curdling screams to Elquist, although they might be to other people in the room. No, they are pleasant, soothing screams, because it makes us very happy to hear this piece of trash screaming as he's hoisted away. And we end up taking some of his clothing in the process. So yeah, neutral evil, so be it. But we do not wish to clap our eyes on this idiot anymore. Deadly Grace, Mithril chain shirt and a cloak of resistance. We'll check those out in the next session. Bye-bye, Moscone! Elquist probably waving as Moscone's... I can just picture Moscone facing Elquist, being dragged, one guard underneath each arm, dragging him out of the throne room backwards, and Elquist waving him off. So, Lindsay says once the coast is clear, King Irovetti invited you for a visit? I have the perfect gift for him. What, Elquist says? Coldly? A more perfect gift than that idiot's head? Well, perhaps the second most perfect gift, Lindsay says with a half a laugh. Look. She hands him a book. Look through it when you have the time. The entire truth of the Academy of Grand Arts and its so-called patron Irovetti. I hope it gives him a stroke when he reads it. The first press run is already on its way to Pitax. When you go, don't forget to take me with you. I want to see the effects of the book Professor Eobold and I wrote with my own eyes. I'm sure it'll be explosive. Indeed it will. So here we go. Go to Pitax. We have finally got the instruction. It is time to go to Pitax. But do we go to go shopping? Or do we go to wage war? We'll find out when we get there, I suppose. But let's have a quick read of this great patron by Lindsay and Eobold. Shrike Hills Publishing. Teachers lecture their students on harmony and beauty, all the while clueless to the ugliness their students face outside the classroom. But alas, above poems and murals, Irovetti places greater value on the beauty of the nude form. Instead of practicing the lute and composing poetry, the students are forced to practice avoiding the unsolicited attention of their patron. Those who dare reject him risk expulsion or worse. Those few who know the vile truth remain silent, for the highest law in Pitax is little more than the capricious will of a crown bandit. I think that's rather timid. Perhaps we should send that in the box with the head for double effect. How about that? That's what we'll do. Hang on, Lindsay. Let me just put this... wrap it up in something so it doesn't get bloodstained. We want him to see the words on the page. But there you go, folks. Apologies about the commentary, but I've done my best. I didn't want to give you completely commentary-less, so the next best thing is a bit of after commentary. But yes, so in the next session, we head to Pitax. Oh, yes, indeed. And that will be a private live stream VOD session. So hopefully I'll get to see how it works properly with commentary and everything. It should be fine. It's just like a regular VOD that you watch when you miss a live stream, so it should be fine. But I just want to make sure that everything goes hunky-dory. It's a good job I did on this occasion, because I've now changed my microphone settings. But anyway, enjoy the rest of your evening, folks, and until next time, see you soon.